Hello everyone, this is Winter Alliance and I am back with another video. So today I'm going to be talking about the second in the series of EQ compression. If you haven't seen the first video on compression, check out the annotation on the screen above. So, instead of giving you just a bunch of specific EQ values, I'm going to give you 3 problem frequency ranges to watch out for, and then you can take these tips and really apply them to any sound, because if you had specific sounds, you really couldn't do that with EQ. As well as I'll show you how to avoid that sort of reason sound that I sometimes see referred to on some of the internet forums. I'll break down what I do with each part, I'll show you an example of what the frequency range sounds like on a synth, I'll boost it and show you more specifically what that actually sounds like, and I'll show you what it sounds like when it's fixed. So there are really a million different things I could show you with EQ, but I wanted to focus on some of the most important things that I learned while I was making my latest song. I'll put a link across the screen if you want to check that out. But before we move into that, what really makes good use of EQ in a song? Well, essentially, EQ is a balance of all the frequency elements in a track. You don't want too much of one frequency or to cause the entire song, or just one specific sound, to really sound unbalanced. The first frequency range that we'll be checking out is the low mids. These go from around 200 to 600. It's kind of debatable if they go up to 600, but that's just the range we'll be looking at today. So first, I'll give you an example of what it sounds like when there's too much of this specific frequency range. So this is a lead without an EQ. And the frequency I'm specifically talking about is this one right here. So if I go ahead and boost it, you could hear it a lot more. And as we can see, that really muddies up the mix. It'll actually depend on where your specific frequency is. Normally it's lower down if you're dealing with a bass sound, but because we have a more plucky lead, it's a little bit higher up. So what you want to do with these frequencies is scoop them out with a relatively high Q. On this one I specifically had 2, and I did it by quite a much. On the gain, it's about 14.3, and that really gives it a more tight sound. I'll go ahead and show you what that sounds like now. And again, compare that to the original signal, which sounds like this. And because I cut so much, it's going to lose quite a bit of volume, so just make sure to boost it if you actually decide to cut that much. If these frequencies really build up in your track, it'll make your entire song, called what's really referred to on a lot of the forums as muddy sounding. And you really don't want that in your track because it makes everything sound really unclear. So the next frequency range that we'll be looking at is this sort of upper mid frequency range, from around 1000 Hz to 3000 Hz. Now, one thing I found very interesting about this whenever I was mixing down my latest song is that these frequencies, if they're actually building up a lot, it sounds like it's a bunch of high frequencies that would be around up here. But in actuality, it's more around here, around 2.5 kilohertz. So what this is really causing is causing it to sound painful and sounding like it had a bunch of these boosted high frequencies up around 20K, but that actually wasn't the case. It was these mid frequencies right here. So again, I'll show you without the EQ what it sounds like, and then I'll show you with and without the EQ. So this is without. And the frequency, if it's boosted, sounds like this. Whenever we scoop it out, I'll go ahead and just kind of A-B it for you. It sounds a lot tighter. And on this specific sound, it's a little bit more subtle, but I'm going to go ahead and show you two on a more of a white noise stab. You'll be able to hear it quite a bit more. So let me go ahead and just audition this for you. Not that one, hold up. So this is without the EQ, it sounds like this. So it sounds like it's upper frequencies around here, but in actuality, again, it's down here in this sort of 1000 to 3000 range. So definitely make sure that those aren't really building up in your track, or if your song or synth sounds painful, that might be why. So go ahead and check that out. Now the final frequency range I'm going to be talking about is these more high frequencies from around 8,000 Hz onward. This is where I believe that quote-unquote reason sound comes from that you sometimes see referred to on the forums. So what am I actually talking about? Well, I'm talking about when the entire track, or just a specific synth, sounds very thin, and especially the high frequencies sound really brittle. So is this caused by a Reason sound engine that is really bad, like some people claim? For a while I thought this could be the case, but actually I found out that this is not. It's simply a misuse of EQ. So what do I mean? Well, the M-Class EQ isn't particularly very good at boosting high frequencies, much like the SSL EQ in Reason, who's actually rather good at doing just this. So what causes this sound is whenever you boost too much high frequencies with the M-Class EQ. What this does is it really colors those frequencies, and it doesn't do so very well. So how do you really fix this? Well, simple. Whenever you're boosting high frequencies, make sure to use the M-Class equalizer in moderation, or if you need to make a more extreme boost, use the SSL EQ in the mixing desk, or check out one of the other rack extensions available. So what if you don't have rack extensions because you have a previous version of Reason? Well, there's one other thing that you can do that can actually do the same sort of effect. If you create an equalizer, you can take the mids right here, and you can scoop them out like so. What this does is once you boost the volume, you scoop down the mids right here, and it boosts the apparent volume of these high frequencies and the low frequencies, making your synth sound louder and sounding like it has more high frequencies without actually affecting those. So that's just sort of a nifty little trick you can try out if you don't have a better EQ available. So in summary, if the high end of your track sounds brittle, kind of like it's falling apart, it's probably because you're boosting too much EQ with the M-Class. You could either try to scoop the mids out like this, or you can try another EQ on the same sound. Alright, so that covers all I have on EQ today. If you guys have any questions or have a specific sound you're having some challenging issues with, feel free to send it to me in a YouTube link, via message, or send me your track, whatever you want to do, comment with a question. Anything is fine. So make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe if you like the video to help me out. And I've got tons more content coming your way. I know I've been sort of busy finishing up this last track, but go ahead and check it out in the description and let me know what you guys think. Alright, and I will see you next time.